And that is the news that Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin.
Caitlin Clark has been ruled out for her 5th straight game with a strained left groin, but fans are growing suspicious. The Indiana Fever's star rookie, who never missed a single game in college, is now sitting out major matchups while the team keeps winning without her. And the league remains unusually quiet. With vague injury reports, no return timeline, and the WNBA All-Star Game just weeks away, questions are exploding online. Is this really just about injury? Or is something being hidden from the fans? From load management to league politics, something doesn't add up, and people want answers.
Clark, she has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor.
The Indiana Fever confirmed Friday that Caitlin Clark will not suit up against the Los Angeles Sparks this Saturday, marking her 5th consecutive missed game due to a strained left groin. But with each passing absence, the frustration builds. Fans watched her sit out high-profile wins against the Minnesota Lynx and the Las Vegas Aces, games where her presence would have only added to the spotlight. And now, with no clear timeline for her return and the All-Star Game looming, the silence from the team and league feels louder than ever. If this is just an injury, why so many unanswered questions?
WNBA ratings across the league dropped by over 50% when Caitlin Clark was out with injury, and this is obviously such a crucial time and a crucial year for the league because they go into CBA negotiations at the end of the year. So my initial thoughts on this injury, my initial concerns with this injury is the fact that it is something that is still lingering and it seems to be jumping.
It marks her 5th consecutive missed game with what the team is calling a strained left groin, bringing her total to 10 missed games this season when you include the 5 she sat earlier due to a quadriceps injury. Among them was Tuesday's Commissioner's Cup victory over the Minnesota Lynx, a national spotlight moment that many believed should have belonged to Clark. Instead, she watched from the sidelines, and the questions haven't stopped since. For a player who never missed a game in college, this pattern is raising eyebrows. Caitlin Clark is not the kind of player who sits out, unless it's serious. At the University of Iowa, she played every single game over 4 seasons. No load management, no excuses. She battled through illness, fatigue, and the pressure of carrying an entire program on her back. Whether it was in front of a sellout crowd or under the brightest lights of March Madness, Caitlin showed up and delivered. She played through double teams, relentless defenders, and intense media scrutiny. She didn't just survive the spotlight, she thrived in it. That's why her fans love her. That's why they show up. Because she always does. She's not just physically tough, she's mentally unshakable. So now, watching her miss game after game without clear answers, it's not just surprising, it's unsettling.
If we go back to the preseason, I think Caitlin Clark went into training camp, or she at least went into the preseason games with a quad injury. This is something that dates all the way back to the beginning of the season.
So now, this stretch of 5 straight absences, it feels off. It's not just a typical injury break. It's starting to feel like something more, unusual, suspicious. And more importantly, it feels like we're not being told the full story. The updates are vague, the timelines keep shifting, and the silence from the team and league is deafening. Online, the reaction has been explosive. Yes, some fans are genuinely concerned about her health, no question. But many others, they're calling foul. They're pointing out the inconsistencies, the timing, and asking the tough questions. Is she really injured? Or is she being strategically benched? By the team, or even by the WNBA itself? It's gotten to the point where fans are no longer satisfied with vague updates. They're demanding real answers, because right now, it doesn't feel like we're getting the full story. The growing frustration isn't just about Caitlin Clark missing games, it's about the bigger picture. This feels like a pattern, not a coincidence. A pattern of questionable officiating, targeted physical play, and now extended absences with little explanation. And when you step back, it starts to look a lot less like a simple injury, and a lot more like WNBA politics. Whether it's jealousy, resentment over her rapid rise, or a calculated effort to manage her exposure, something deeper is clearly at play.
The Indiana Fever yet, but maybe I'm behind. Boom, I checked the Indiana Fever socials and I see nothing. Nothing on the Indiana Fever socials. So I said, okay, let me take note of that. Let me put it to the side just in case. And then I come across an article. Indiana Fever make Caitlin Clark decision before Sparks game. The article goes on. The Indiana Fever are playing some of their best basketball of the season as they prepare to host the Los Angeles Sparks on Saturday evening. Head coach Stephanie White has guided her team to 3 straight wins, including a Commissioner's Cup championship victory over the Minnesota Lynx. Following that, the Fever crushed the Las Vegas Aces 81-54. Indiana is now 9-8 and sits 3rd in the Eastern Conference, playing the 2nd of 5 straight games at.
Let's not forget what Caitlin Clark has already been through in just her rookie season. She's taken hard fouls that were blatantly ignored by referees, hits that would have drawn immediate whistles for any other star. She's been targeted by players, elbowed, shoved, and knocked to the ground, often without consequence. The media has been no better. 1 minute praising her as the future of the league, the next dragging her into controversy she never asked for. She's been pushed, tested, and yes, in some cases, set up to fail. Some say it's jealousy from veterans who don't like the spotlight she's stolen. Others believe race plays a role in how she's treated. And many think the WNBA itself is stuck, caught between using her to grow the game and trying not to upset those who feel overshadowed by her presence. Now, with no clear injury details, no timeline for return, and continued silence from both the Indiana Fever and the league, it's no wonder fans are starting to believe this absence might be strategic, not strictly medical. The timing is just too convenient, the updates too vague, and the pattern too familiar. And here's where things get even more complicated. Despite missing multiple games, Caitlin Clark has been named one of the 2 captains for the upcoming WNBA All-Star Game. That's right, she's expected to lead Team WNBA in the league's biggest showcase of the year. So the question is simple. How can she be healthy enough to lead an all-star team, but not healthy enough to play for her own?
And the website, though it's dated 7/3/2025, I'm not sure if they just don't acknowledge Independence Day. I'm not sure if whoever sets up their website is a day behind, but it confirms what that article says. Clark will miss a 5th straight game while recovering from a left groin injury. Even though the star guard went through, I already read that to you guys, right?
She's the biggest name in the league, the top jersey seller, the highest ratings draw. The player networks promote, fans travel to see, and sponsors invest millions into. Caitlin Clark isn't just participating in All-Star Weekend. She's the centerpiece. But here's the dilemma. How can she lead an all-star team if she can't even suit up for the regular season? If she suddenly returns healthy under the all-star spotlight after weeks of sitting out quietly, it's going to raise even more eyebrows. Was this really about rest and recovery? Or was it all about optics, image control, and saving her for the cameras? Will she play? Will they hold her out again? And what happens if she's suddenly miraculously healed just in time for the All-Star game with all the cameras, sponsors, and national attention tuned in? These are the questions fans and critics are all asking. Because at this point, the lines between injury, strategy, and image management are completely blurred. So what does all of this really mean? It means something is broken. Either Caitlin Clark is truly injured and the team, or the league, is hiding how serious it is, or she's healthy enough to return, and they're deliberately holding her back for reasons they won't admit. Either way, fans feel left in the dark, and trust is starting to crack. And that's a problem, because in a league that claims it's growing, evolving, and building a new era for women's basketball, this kind of silence isn't just bad PR, it's a slap in the face to the fans. The very fans who have shown up, sold out arenas, and tuned in because of Caitlin Clark. If the WNBA or the Indiana Fever mishandle this, if they fail to be honest, transparent, and fair with the biggest star they've ever had, they won't just risk a few bad headlines. They risk losing the trust that's fueled their rise. So what do you think? Is this really just about a groin strain? Or is something else happening behind the scenes that they don't want us to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from the real fans, the ones who've been watching closely game after game. And if you're tired of the silence, the politics, and the way Caitlin Clark is being treated, do something about it. Hit that like button. Subscribe, share this video, because something's not adding up, and we're not going to stop asking questions until we get the truth.